Alright. We good? We good? Alright. Out here, early in the morning. Beautiful vibe. I'm getting a new mic soon, so that I don't have to, like, the background noise here is just out of control, but it's like the only relatively quiet park where I could do this, if that makes sense. Everything else is like destroyed by background noise. Like here, it's chilling because all the cars went by, and sometimes we get a little pocket of silence. But yeah, this video is gonna be how like addiction in its latest stage, if it keeps going on, is just it's actual demonic possession that takes away everything about yourself or maybe someone you know, a friend, a family member. It literally destroys who they are, and they're not even a person anymore. They're just, how do I put this? They're literally the demon of, I won't quit. They're literally possessed by a demon. Like, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I have my little cheat sheet here. So when you first start using, it's probably usually like in an innocent context. It's like fun. You go to parties maybe when you're in high school. I didn't start drinking until I was like 20 years old. And I literally thought I was never gonna drink because of some of the situations that I was caught in when I was a child. But I was so naive. When I first started drinking, I didn't even mean to. So it was at a tailgate, and they had like a keg, and then they had a cooler. And I thought that the cooler was blue. That was the color of the cooler, and it was like a big football tailgate. And there's the keg, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna, that's beer, so I'm not gonna do that. I thought that the cooler was for people who didn't want to drink. And I thought that, oh, this is for like people who don't want to drink at all. So that they have like non-alcoholic things. It was jungle juice, obviously. And I know this is sad, but like, probably the first time that I ever drank, it's probably forever gonna be the best day of my life chemically, if that makes sense. Like in a chemical, feel-good way. It'll always be the best day of my life. Like, I literally thought that all of my problems were solved when I first got drunk. Like, all of my problems were solved. Craziest feeling. I don't think that'll ever, the first time, like, that high. Like, oh my god, bro. Like, I'm just getting, like, chills and, like, also, like, a scared pit in my stomach of how good that feeling felt, because things shouldn't feel that good. They shouldn't feel that good. Things that feel that good are usually really bad for you. But yeah, it usually starts out innocent, and yeah, it's depending on how bad it is. Like, if you're on like a fast track to like, like if you got it in your family, or like you went through some things and like you're doing it a lot, like it could obviously like be on a fast track where it'll only take like 5 years till it's like, damn, I gotta quit. But usually for most people, I think, in my opinion, like it's a slow burn to misery. It'll just keep getting worse and worse and worse incrementally over the course of a long period of time. So like usually like over the long period of like a decade, maybe 2 decades, 3 decades, but then at like 4 decades. I'll be honest with you, I think that I'd have to look into this more, but getting older past, or getting sober past 50 is probably so hard. That is probably so difficult on so many levels. Like, you're trying to break a decades long habit, just doing something for decades and then like just trying to quit. That's crazy hard probably. But yeah, yeah, most people have absolutely no idea how powerful that stuff is when they first do it, because it how do I put this? Let me think. Here we go. because it can be used in different ways, and people don't realize how it can be used in different ways over the course of a long period of time. For example, like when you first do it, it's probably just to have fun, but then you realize like, oh, like this can shut off my fucking brain. So, oh, I don't like my job. Boom, shut off my brain. Drink. Boom, I don't like the way someone's treating me. Boom, shut off my brain. Drink. You see how powerful that habit can be if you realize like how to use it in the right context, or like I'm guessing in the bad context. But it is extremely critical that you catch yourself, or at least become self-aware of like when you're using it and when you're not using it. If you're just using it on the weekend and it's just like a party thing, like that's still like a little bit risky. But like if you're like using it to cope with something, that's when it can get bad, and that's when it can get that's when you can build a what I like to consider like a spiritual habit. Now, what is a spiritual habit? A spiritual habit is a negative spiritual habit. So a negative spiritual habit is you have to cope with a problem through negative means, and through those negative means, it slowly destroys your soul. For example, I know someone who close to me who did not like their job. Like they hated their job, and they got paid good money. But in order to cope with hating their job, and in my opinion, hating their life, they drank. And first it was on the weekends, then it was Thursday, and then it turned into a little Wednesday, and then it turned into Tuesday, and then next thing you know, they're drinking every day, because it's a negative spiritual habit. And the problem, since you're not dealing with it, gets worse and worse and worse. Not necessarily the problem of your job, but the problem you make of it in your mind. And then the problem you make of it in your mind, you have to cope with that. And usually things in your mind, at work, problems at work, you can leave them at 5 p.m. Problems in your mind, they stick with you. So that's why I believe people start drinking every day, to cope with the problems in their mind, not the actual problems within their reality. Not the practical problems, the problems that in their head. That's why they start drinking every day. Not necessarily the problems that, oh, like this person at work treated me bad, or I have this big project coming up. Nah, it's what you make of it up here. Ooh, it just got really peaceful. This is fantastic. But that's why. So a negative spiritual habit over the course of time can build and build and build to the point of no return, which when then in return becomes demonic possession of the highest form. Even if you retire from that job, even if you get a better job, that negative spiritual habit sticks with you, because it's what's on the inside that's bothering you. It's what's in your head. It's not what's going on at work. It's not what's going on with how people are treating you. It's not the external, it's the internal.